Hey Tamoor, how's it going? Still suck at Overwatch? Anyway, it's been a slow start to the year for major game releases. The weeks haven't been barren exactly, but what juggernauts we were anticipating have since gone down Delay Avenue, driving into the sunset while most people turn to other sources of entertainment on this lonely street corner called February. But you and me, Tamoor, we're not like most people. In an effort to murder some time before those two games about demonic hellscapes release on March 20th, we both chose to play an older title, a 7-year-old title. I'm talking, of course, about Arkham Origins. Rumors have hung like a fog over WB Montreal's next project for a while now. Many of them were confirmed when the studio strongly implied that yes, it's working on another Batman game, and yes, it will focus on our boys' fight against the elusive and powerful Court of Owls. We can get into more specifics on that later, but suffice to say, what with it being the studio's only full Batman game to date, Arkham Origins is relevant once again. So let me tee you up here. Before returning to Origins, I remembered it as the hardest Batman game to remember. I played through it during its 2013 release and, like a great many people, felt it was a fine but forgettable game. Chiefly, I didn't remember it doing much to improve upon the strong foundation Rocksteady had laid with Arkham Asylum and Arkham City. So let me ask you, how did you remember the game before returning to it, and more importantly, what do you think of Arkham Origins now?
Hey Mike, it's going well, thanks. Are you still trying to make it as a Warframe influencer? Anyways, I think you've nailed it by calling Arkham Origins the hardest Batman game to remember there. It very much is that in a lot of respects, which is unsurprising given how close it stuck to what Rocksteady set out in their games. But it's also a game with a lot of interesting ideas of its own and some really memorable moments. I remember Arkham Origins as a game that won me over. Despite my cynicism going in, I came away from it having enjoyed the experience as a whole and actually impressed with some of the things that WB Montreal did. It's definitely not the best of the bunch, but I think it doesn't deserve to be shunned at all. I think that Arkham Origins realizes some of the aspects of the Become the Batman mantra that Rocksteady didn't do much or as well. The detective part of being Batman is kind of thin in Asylum City and even Night. Those games are superb and I really adore them, and they shine in so many other ways, but that's the one element they skimp on. Origins went the other way. It made the whole crime scene investigation a core part of the game. The other thing that I really like about Origins, and something that it does much better than Rocksteady's games, is the sense of time it had. Rocksteady pretty much nailed the sense of place with their version of Gotham, which is what WB Montreal used in large part for their game, but smartly, Montreal put a spin on it by setting it during Christmas. I really respect the decision to do that, as it's also evocative of some of the most beloved Batman stories out there. Stuff like Long Halloween, which is also set during Christmas, and Year One, which is an early career story. There's so much more to unpack about Arkham Origins, and it has a lot that WB Montreal I think will build on in the next project, which I also have some theories on. But yeah, for now, suffice it to say that I'm quite fond of Arkham Origins.
Please, stop! Stop! I'll talk. I'll tell you anything you want to know, please!
Too late. I already have what I need.
No! You're crazy! You're freaking crazy!
Okay, as you said, there's a lot to unpack here. I do agree that WB Montreal nailed a sense of time here. The Christmas trees, garlands, and occasional Santa hat offer a nice juxtaposition to Gotham's grimy streets, as well as the generally monochromatic look of this particular game world. I also love Origins' focus on crime scenes. Reconstructing the ordeal using Batman's state-of-the-art gadgets has a voyeuristic appeal that stands out from the combat stealth rhythm this series is known for. The detective scenes feel like bite-sized bits of environmental storytelling which, when combined with the world's holiday vibes, work wonders in setting Origins apart from Rocksteady's environments. Lastly, I genuinely enjoy how on the nose the whole script is in regards to Origins boss fights. Hey Batman, here are 8 assassins. You'll be fighting each of them periodically, and most of them will drop a cool new gadget like the Mega Man boss they are. Have fun beating the shit out of them. Sure, some of these bosses are glorified QuickTime events. I'm looking at you, Deathstroke, but they're so stylish it's hard to care. With all that being said, I still don't like Origins. In fact, I think I like it less than I did in 2013. As much as I wanted to enjoy this sojourn, Origins reminded me why I found it forgettable to begin with. Its world nails an aesthetic, yes, but it's empty and vapid. Its combat and stealth shine early on, but they don't really evolve in any compelling way as the hours roll by. And while I stand by what I said about the story's decided cheesiness being a strong point, I do wish WB Montreal did more with this younger, angrier Bruce Wayne they had at their disposal. For all of Origins' faults though, I am excited for the studio's upcoming Batman game. I finally read Scott Snyder and Greg Capullo's Court of Owls comic book run about a vicious Gotham Illuminati deploying dangerous assassins known as Talons to eliminate public officials. I think you'll agree there is a lot of material to work with here. As a much more learned Batman aficionado than myself, what do you think WB Montreal could do with this next adventure?
That's an interesting perspective, and I certainly respect your right to incorrect opinions. But before I move on, I want to call out that there are a couple of cool narrative ideas that I really enjoyed in Origins, the Black Mask reveal being one of them, as well as the closer inspection of the relationship between Alfred and Bruce. I really also like that the Electrocutioner gets treated like an absolute bottom of the barrel chump villain, because he totally is. Looking forward, I think people are expecting something close to what already exists from WB Montreal, given that Origins was a spin on City. I think that team might surprise us though with something that's quite different and also much bigger in scale than we probably expect. That game, whatever it turns out to be, has been in development for a long time, and I reckon we'll get something ambitious out of that. Based on the teasers, it seems like it's going to be more than just a story about the Court of Owls versus Batman. I feel like the Court of Owls arc will be a huge inspiration on the game, but instead of just using a single secret society to undermine Batman's understanding of his home, it will be multiple large-scale threats. We've also spent so much time in Arkham City and Gotham City, so I think now's the right time to expand beyond it. I definitely feel like Gotham will be there, but I suspect and I hope that we'll be paying a trip to Bloodhaven at the very least, and maybe even a few places outside of that too. That would be a great way to get some visual variety and of course let other members of the Bat family step into the spotlight. There's been so much work done in making characters like Nightwing and Batgirl interesting and playable, so I think that Montreal will take some of that and expand upon it. Imagine all those smaller DLC expansions for previous games, but instead as chapters in a much bigger story, each member of the Bat family dealing with an uprising in a different corner of a bigger world before coming together to take on the masterminds, the Court of Owls. Maybe that's just a pipe dream though. Either way, I think for me Arkham Origins left me feeling good about what WB Montreal could do with that universe if given the freedom to follow their own ideas. Whatever it does turn out to be, I am very, very excited to see it.